Hi, I'm Mario Guerra, the two-time former mayor of the great city of Downey. And I'm here with my co-host, Eric Pierce, the editor of the great Downey Patriot newspaper. And you're watching to Talking Downey with Mario
and Eric. How are you, Mario?
Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Same to you. Same to you.
Did you have a good holiday?
We did. We had a great one, the whole family, and it's always fun to have kids around, too.
Yeah, good.
We had two of our grandkids, and then last night, two of the other grandkids. We're taping this on Wednesday. They'll come out on Friday, right before the New Year's. So, yeah. How about you?
It was good. You know what's funny is you say that it's Wednesday. It feels like a Tuesday. The whole week between Christmas and New Year's, it's just very strange, right? You're just kind of like, you're kind of working, you're kind of not. You're just kind of like, every day is kind of weird, right?
Well, that's you guys in the newspaper business, man. In my work, there's still some work to be done. I was really good. I got anxious and finished a lot of my stuff last week.
Good for you. So before we started recording, we were talking just between us. We always chat a little bit. We were talking about 2024. Yeah. And it's going to be a huge year next year, like nationally, statewide, and here in Downey. There's a lot of stuff happening next year. Yeah. Good stuff happening.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I wrote down some of the things on there because we started talking. I'm like, oh my God, we got to at least, I got to remember to these things.
Yeah.
So,
let's go down your list.
Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, we have a new mayor. Okay, Mario Trujillo on there. So we've already seen him. He gave a very nice speech on his installation night on there. So we're optimistic, and we've seen the council already working together on some things. I saw him on Christmas Day, Horacio and Dorothy going to the police station. So that was really good.
And, I'll say this about Mario. I've noticed in his speech, he's being very inclusive, which I love. He's including the entire city council in his remarks, and I think he's being the bigger person because I wouldn't really blame him if he was kind of petty about certain things, but he's been very classy, and I think he's been a great mayor so far. It's only been a couple of weeks, but he's doing the right things.
We need to move forward, and that's good, especially because of all the great 2024 stuff in the business. So we have a new police chief that's coming. Leslie Murray, our police chief, her official day was a week ago Friday, and I went to her retirement the week before. But so right now we have a temporary and interim, but I hear that they're interviewing for the new police chief. So that's a big deal.
It is a big deal, especially because I'm anxious to see if it's somebody who's promoted from within. But I think you've heard too, it's they're interviewing outside candidates from other parts of the country. So we'll see. I mean, that hasn't always worked out in Downey.
Yeah, Captain Lochner is the interim police chief right now. And we have a couple other captains. We got, Captain Baker and Captain Perino. So, and then we have a really young department, so leadership is going to be real important. So that's going to be interesting.
I'm sure whenever that name is announced, we'll talk about it more. Yeah, because we're going to have questions.
And we'll have the new police chief on here. Regardless of who it is, we'll invite them on if they want to be on here. Yeah, so that's one of our things next year too. Is we want to get the city manager Roger Bradley, which we really like. We're going to get the city attorney, on here. So maybe we'll go to their offices and interview them. But okay, so we started talking about things are coming to Downey. This is kind of fun. Okay, so Sprouts has been announced. Last time we taped, we kept our mouth shut because we knew, but we wanted the city to be able to make the announcement.
Well, the Patriot made the announcement.
The Patriot made the
announcement. The Downey Patriot made the announcement.
There you go.
So that came out last week once. And the announcement came after. It was a really bad secret going around town. Yeah. But once Sprouts submitted plans to the city, that's when the Patriot reported that it was coming.
Because that becomes public.
Yeah, it becomes public knowledge. And it's more official at that point.
Right.
They actually submitted plans.
Right.
They're going to be opening over where it used to be Bed Bath & Beyond.
Right.
At the Downey Landing, which, I've heard mixed comments about that location. And I think it's a good location. I mean,
parking won't be an issue.
No, there's plenty of parking. It'll be fine.
It's different on that side of town, if you will. I mean, that derogatory is just that it's just different to have a from a grocery store there, that everyday grocery store. They're usually more, I don't know, neighborhood centric.
Right. It's interesting. Yeah. I said this before, but we're so lucky in Downey with our grocery stores.
Yeah.
We have so many options. We have 2 Ralphs. We have the Albertsons, Stater Brothers, Vallarta, now Aldi, and now
don't forget Walmart.
Really good prices. Yeah.
So the week before Christmas, or 2 weeks ago, we had our progressive dinner party that we've had with the same 5 couples now for our 30th year. So this year was a black and white theme. So I got Buck Whitney. So I went there and I said, I'm just going to go to Walmart because there's a couple of things alcohol related and stuff. But I'm like, I'm going to see, what I could find. And I'm just going to walk up and down the aisle. Anyways, I was happily impressed. I hadn't been there in about a year.
Yeah.
And then the food area part was kind of interesting too.
Yeah. Did you go to the actual Walmart or the grocery store?
No, I went to the big one.
Big one.
Over at the Promenade.
Yeah. The smaller one, it gets the job done.
It gets the job done.
Yeah.
There. And then, like the day before Thanksgiving, too, my son Ryan says, he goes, Dad, go to Vallarta and get some of those bolillos. And instead, because the line was too big at Porto's and I forgot to get them the day before. And I went there and they were fresh and they were making them. And I got, 3 dozen and they were amazing. So good for Vallarta. So yeah, we don't have any shortage on there, but good.
No.
A lot of people wanted sprouts. I think it's a little cachet for us and so forth. But
it's, I'll say this. I think it loses a little bit of its shine because there's already a Sprouts in Norwalk, and there's one coming or it's already open in Cudahy, and now Downey has one.
Yeah.
It lost a little bit of the excitement, and that's just like my Downey, hometown homerism coming out.
I'm gonna keep my judgment to myself because
nothing against those cities, but Downey being, getting one behind them, it's like,
I get it. So the big one that's kind of like a secret wink on there is about Trader Joe's. Okay, so you and I have it from good authorities that a Trader Joe's is in the works, possibility, sort of, maybe, kind of.
They're getting closer. That's what I've heard. They're getting closer to securing a location in Downey. I'm not going to believe it until something's signed.
Right.
And actually, I'm not going to believe it until the doors are open and you see the Trader Joe's there. But supposedly that's what the talk is. There's progress being made. We do know the city's working on it.
Yeah. And it's on, that we know for a fact, and it's on Firestone Boulevard, is where Trader Joe's always wants to be. So then you and I have talked, and we have some ideas and so forth. We'll see.
Because there's been lots of potential locations, and that's been my thing has always been, if Trader Joe's wanted to open in Downey, they've had multiple opportunities to do so already. But they've chosen not to open in Downey.
Correct.
Now, if they switched and made a new decision, great. But we'll see. We just don't know.
So from where we're at, we have for sure have a Shake Shack coming.
Yes.
It's going to be on the corner of Firestone and Downey Avenue. That's kind of fun on there for guys that like Shake Shack, and I do. We have the Avenue Pizza in downtown Downey. Looks like it's almost ready.
From the outside, I haven't peeked inside yet.
I looked over the fence the other day, and then the Downey Avenue side looks like it is.
Oh,
so
good.
That's really good. And so that'll be kind of fun there, just to have it's a small little place on there. But see, I hope they have gourmet type pizza.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I hope they have pizza by the slice.
Yeah,
that would be kind of cool to walk by and grab a slice.
Grab a slice on there, because you and I have surrounded your, excuse me, office on the other side, my office here, so we just converge on it.
Yeah, I do remember when it was approved that they were approved to open very late. I almost want to say 4 a.m. It was really late.
That and the thing on the back part of it, that's kind of be like, I heard a tequila tasting room and comedy show place and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know about that 4 a.m. thing.
I don't know. I mean, and I will have to verify it.
Yeah, no, I've heard the same thing.
That's where
I wasn't on the planning commission, or I wouldn't have. Nothing good happens after 2 o'clock like that.
No. I mean, they'll be catering to the people after once the restaurants, the bars close.
Nothing that 2:30 in the morning is good.
Right.
I'm sorry. I don't care what it is. We shouldn't have an establishment open that late, especially if they're serving. Well, I don't know if you can serve alcohol after 2, because that's a state law.
That's state law, right?
But still,
but yeah, but hopefully it'll be open for lunch, and we'll try it out.
Yeah. So also the other part that it's kind of like wink, wink. We're working on a kind of thing on there is a Costco. Bringing a Costco to Downey. There'd be other parts. Of course, here in Downey, we use the one over in Norwalk on there, and sometimes I go to the one in Lakewood because it's just a little bit easier, and they have different things and stuff like that. But we all love Costco, so
yeah. There's been talk that there's been talk, not just talk, about a Costco opening in Downey. Yeah. It's another one of those situations where you have to see it to believe it, right? It's nothing's official yet, and when it's official, it'll be announced. It will be a huge deal if it happens.
Yeah. I have confidence in some of the people that are working on it, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and it would be nice because I avoid the Norwalk location. Yeah. The parking's terrible. Yeah. It's too crowded. I'd rather drive to Lakewood or La Habra. Yeah. So hopefully, if it happens, it will alleviate. I haven't been to the one in La Habra, Really,
but the Lakewood one, and then because we own a house in Torrance, so sometimes we go down there. So the Torrance one, there's one in the South Bay, but it's funny is because they're a little turned around, so you're almost like lost, like. When you go to your regular Costco, where you're at. Where the breads are. Where the meats are and the good stuff, And
you know what they say? I don't know if it's true, but they say that different Costcos carry different products.
They do.
They do.
I think they're only maxed out. I saw one of those series about them. I think that they only carry like 4,400 products, where like a regular grocery store carries like 24,000. So they're limited. I mean, we always get a large bulk and so forth. I don't know. I always feel like their quality, because there's only 4,400 and they test it. They double check that this is good stuff. I always feel like I'm getting such great quality.
Okay.
At Costco.
It is.
I just know if it's the Costco thing, it's good.
The Costco brand is good.
Yeah. So, okay, so next year, here's a couple other things on there. We're going to have... I know that this is late December 2023, and we just had an election in November of 2023. But next year, for Downey, we're going to have 3 elections. Okay, there's going to be tons of things on the ballot, and we'll do some ballot shows. But we're going to have the one for Dorothy Pemberton, District 3, District 1, Horacio Ortiz, and then District 5, Mayor Trujillo. So those 3 will be up for re-election next November.
Yeah.
So like summertime is like, here we go again.
And you know what? We're going to get so fed up with elections, because that's going to go concurrently with the presidential election. Yeah. It's going to get ugly. Yeah. And I feel like that might set the tone for local elections too. Yeah. I feel like these are going to be very ugly elections all around.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff you've already seen. Some of the national things going on at the presidential election, of course.
And we already have people on the local level who are announced that they're running for next year. Yeah. So they're not wasting any time at all.
No, including the 2 candidates that lost pretty big on there, to Horacio and to Dorothy. I mean, double digits, big losses. And the very next day, hey, I'm running. Okay.
But, it's going to be a different... They're different election in different ways, because so many more people now are going to vote in this year, because it's going to be a presidential election, and a great number of them, I suspect, are not tuned into what's happening locally,
right?
And that's kind of scary,
right?
I don't care who wins, but have some sort of justification for why you're voting, for who you're voting for,
right?
And a lot of people are not going to,
because some of the candidates that ran last time, you've never heard of them before, and they got involved just to run, and then it's like, okay, so now we'll see what you're going to do in January. Then are you still involved in it, or you just wanted to run?
Right.
Well, in that saying that, I mean, just right now, starting next week is the starting for the primary election that's in March. We have an early primary. We're right around before Super Tuesday there, and at the national one this year. We have so many delegates on the Democratic Party, which of course will be for President Biden. But on the Republican side, we have 163 delegates, I believe. So that's going to be interesting, because California is such a big one. It'll have a big impact on who the Republican candidate is. So, but that's now. That's starting next week in 2024. So that's going to be kind of crazy. So I was reviewing the year mentally, and I was writing down yesterday kind of places I'm going to go next year, because I'm
You have a busy calendar next year.
Yeah, I got a barely busy calendar traveling next year for the Army and politics and everything else. But we're doing one for ourselves. Ann and I were going to Paris.
It's about time.
I know. I've never been to Paris, been to Europe several times. So we're taking one of those cruises through the river there to take us from Paris to D-Day. It's the next year is the anniversary of the D-Day, 1944 when we landed there. So it's the 80th anniversary. Ann and I were there on the 50th anniversary. We were there with President Clinton. So it's kind of exciting, but we're going to extend it a little bit too. But we've never been, so I'm learning all my little French words to try to fit in and to be nice on there.
Oui.
On there, oui on there. Boy, the Eiffel Tower, because I want to go on it, of course, like everybody else. But the rules, the timing, the lines, and all this other stuff. Anybody that watches PBS watches Rick Steves, okay? He's kind of like this nice, calm guy that goes to Europe a lot. I watch it. It keeps me calm. I feel like I know Europe like the back of my hand. I've only been there 5 times or something. Anyways, so we're excited. But right after us comes the Olympics in Paris. Okay, so that's going to be kind of fun. Big year. We all like to watch the Olympics. It's the Summer Olympics, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I remember back. I think this was the World Cup actually, but downtown Downey had like viewing parties.
Yeah.
And like the street would shut down, and the restaurants downtown would show the.
I was on council then.
I remember, and it was such a great time. I don't think it could be shown like publicly because of the rules, but every restaurant you can go to the restaurants and watch the games there. It would be great to have that again for the Olympics.
Yeah.
It was just so much fun rooting for the U.S. or whoever you want to root for.
Maybe it's something the DDIA can look at next year. You're right. You do it with 2 or 3 restaurants. Maybe you do a pub crawl and they
just kind of have some food and just have a good time.
Yeah, that was good. That was good when we did that.
Have like your little flags, wave your flags. It was a good time.
2014, I think.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it was really cool. Okay, so presidential Paris, and then of course in Downey we got 2 big things that we're working on: the YMCA, which we're getting close to. I don't know if we'll break ground next year. We did have a dedication on it, and they're getting close. And then the other one that I know we'll have a groundbreaking is, because I'm on their board, is the Columbia Memorial Space Center, the building, the Inspiration building. So we're getting close to that. So, man, those are big things just off the top of my head that I wrote down a few minutes before you got here.
Yeah, and I'm excited for the Inspiration for different reasons, but also because it's going to have like a meeting room component, so you can rent it out for meetings, for events and functions, because we need more of those.
We need more of those in Downey on there, and you're going to be able. It's going to be. You can host. I mean, right now you got the Rio Hondo Event Center if you want to have a really big meeting, but this will even give us more capacities, and you'll be underneath there next to it. The building's so
Imagine
big.
having like the state of the city address. Wouldn't that be cool?
With the inspiration behind it.
Yeah, that would be exciting.
A little bit different is because, everybody says, oh, one of the real ones is going to be in L.A. It's going to be standing up. So, the massiveness, but we have the full-scale massiveness of it, but you're going to be able to go inside. To go inside of it, too. I mean,
that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, and we named it, I was part of that when we named it the Inspiration because it inspired NASA to go ahead and build the other one. So next year, that's exciting. So, folks, that's a lot of Downey stuff that we got, and it's going to be a good year.
And that's just what we know about. Yeah. We always get more stuff happening that we don't know about. Yeah. It's going to be a jam-packed year. I think it's going to be a mostly great year. Yeah. And it's gonna be busy. Yeah, and I'm telling you, I'm enjoying being on the Planning Commission. So I get to see some of the things before, and thank you to Councilman Sosa. But I think our city is in a good spot this year. Totally different. Think about last year. So Christmas 2022, we had the recall election that we knew was coming in a couple of weeks after that. We had the craziness. We had empty seats. We had interim city managers, interim city lawyers, interim everything. Yeah. And we're like, oh, my God. And now there's some stability. And now Downey's kind of finding its legs a little bit. Yeah. It is kind of discovering, what it is it wants to do in the future, how it's going to progress. I'll say this. So I wrote a story for the Patriot, kind of looking ahead to 2024, and the analogy that I use was 2004, the Lakers. If you remember, in that offseason, the Lakers brought in Karl Malone and Gary Payton. Everybody expected them. The Lakers were supposed to be really good.
Gary Payton, and who was the guy that played with Malone in Utah? The short guard.
Well, he played with Stockton.
Stockton, yeah. He came in with
No, Stockton didn't come. Stockton didn't. No, he did not come. He did not. No, he didn't come. Okay. But the Lakers blew it, and so they lost in the finals to Detroit. So that offseason, the Lakers blew it up. They traded Shaq. Karl Malone retired. They kept, of course, Kobe, but they got rid of Phil Jackson. But a lot of turnover. It was a rough year, but they made a plan to move forward. Right. They brought in new people, a new team. It took a couple of years, but they rebounded and they won the championship again in 2008. And so I feel that's where Downey is right now too. It was a rough transition year, but now the key people are in place, and now you start to build and you start to grow and you have a plan and you move forward. You start moving forward. Right. That's kind of how I see it now.
Yeah. No, that's great.
It's a good year. It's a good year.
Listen, we'll do a show about, Merry Christmas to all of us for signing Downey and Yamamoto, and it's pronounced Yamamoto, right? The pitcher.
Yes.
Okay. And our Dodgers. We'll do a quick episode
on the Dodgers.
So Merry Christmas to us. I can't wait to opening day. My Bruins are in the Big 12 now. We get to go. Not a Big 12 game. I'm going to LSU next year to watch them play. We got big teams coming. It's gonna be a blast.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So listen. So we want to thank you for listening and watching all year. We welcome your comments. We welcome your thoughts and your ideas. We're going to be a little bit more on the road next year, do some remote podcasts throughout Downey, of course. We're looking at possibly, besides the Talking Downey, we're looking about possibly having one called Talking California or Talking Politics, because it's such a big political year. Because we don't want to bore our readers and our listeners and our watchers with too much politics on there. So the Downey one is kind of a limited brand, if you will. So we want to reach out and have an opportunity to talk more. But we welcome your thoughts and your comments on that. So anyways, on behalf from Eric and I, we want to thank you to all loyal subscribers. We want to thank our sponsor, Financial Partners Credit Union, which has done an amazing job. We wouldn't be here without them, and we really enjoy all they're doing for our community. So thank you, Financial Partners and Nader and your whole team. And to all of you that have been watching and listening on there. It's been a great 2023. So God bless you. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching Talking Downey with Mario
and Eric.